I am tired of feeling like I'm a cheater because I had sex when we weren't together. And I am tired of liking a person but being committed to you.
Can I just say this to you from my heart? Gary and all his drama, please.
Unfortunately, I still love him.
If you're so in love with Gary, how are you? Robin, I need to know.
It's complicated. Love is complicated.
Yeah, Sistas fans, do I need to say it? I've been saying it since season 1, to be honest. Gary needs to be written out of the show. For real. I don't understand how it's being written for Andi to still love Gary for some reason. I mean, at the beginning of the episode, she talks about how she wants to be with somebody else and, be with somebody that's less drama, but she's still committed to him in her heart of hearts. And at the end, you have just a calm, cool, and collected girl talk between Fatima and Andi. I really liked the scene in itself. I mean, it was very slowed down compared to the rest of the episode, and sometimes we need a breath of fresh air when there's a whole lot of action going on between characters. But to have Fatima and Andi just sit and talk is something that's been pushed back for so long. Anytime they're about to have lunch or hang out, oh, Fatima, I gotta hang out with the girls. It's not that you aren't one of the girls, it's just like a private conversation. Or Fatima, sorry, I gotta run because this happened or that happened. So to finally see these two sit and talk was great. But I'm just annoyed when it comes to Andi. Fatima said what everybody's been saying: F Gary and the drama, move on. That's the thing. I still love him. Well, if that's the case, then, how are you able to still sleep with Robin? Love is complicated. Despite how true that statement is, that's a flimsy foundation to stand on in not even your argument, but your case. You're a lawyer, Andi. You should know better than this. But she has no guilt, no regret towards having that threesome. She also doesn't even care anymore. If you don't care anymore, then how can you say you love Gary? Or do you mean that you don't care anymore because you don't care how your actions make him feel because he's been apparently cheating on you this entire time? Now, when Fatima called her girl in front of Zach in order to confirm that the phone call with Hayden that he overheard was fake, that was real. Like, you could tell, hey girl, thanks for everything you did earlier. Yeah, I know you love Zach, and when he does this certain thing too, he's like, hey, that's enough. But when Gary called that woman on his phone, that seemed real. Like, yeah, baby, did you get the flowers? I'm going to come over. Let's have sex in about 20 minutes. That felt real. That didn't feel staged. Now, you could argue that, well, Jeremy, what if off screen Gary arranged it? I doubt it, because he didn't know about the backwards underwear thing until after Andi got into the apartment. So Gary's been cheating the whole time. So I don't know what's worse. The fact that Andi apparently refuses to move on from Gary the same way that Karen refuses to move on from Zach. Even though I feel like the Andi Gary thing, people have just been so numb to that storyline that nobody really talks about it. But when you really think about it, Andi is doing the exact same thing that Gary is. The only difference is she's just hoeing herself around without even caring anymore, as opposed to Karen, who has someone that really wants to be with her, but she's too hung up on her ex who has moved on from her. So it's crazy to me to think that Andi really believes that she loves Gary. Why do you think she's holding on? If this is love, I don't want any part of it. Like, to just say that because he's pissed me off, he's put me through so much. Well, Andi, if he's put you through so much, if he's put you through so much heartache, pain, humiliation, and all kinds of stuff, why are you still in love with him? Why are you still with him? I know Danny told Karen after Zach walked out of the apartment about how you shouldn't put yourself through this. It was 3 years, Danny. None of y'all have been through what I've been through in 3 years. I'm like, even though Gary and Andi have had a 6 month or so relationship, remember, they were together, what, about 6 months before episode 1? Because I think their anniversary was also Andi's birthday or something. But basically, they haven't even been together a full year. However, when you look at everything Zach and Karen went through compared to Gary and Andi, I'm pretty sure Gary put Andi through a lot more than Zach put Karen through. I'm just saying. So, there are men and women just like Andi, so I can't fault Tyler Perry for making this unrealistic. But at the same time, it's just, when you listen to Andi say what she says, do you even think she believes that she loves Gary anymore? Because if nothing else, fine, you love Gary, but you're just using all these other men. I mean, you flaunt yourself in front of these men, you tease them, and then when you finally give it up to them, it's only because Gary pissed you off, and then when they want some more, you act like the first time never even happened. I mean, you basically said I had sex with, Robin because, hell, Gary kept accusing me of doing it, so I might as well just did it. Well, you had a threesome, not just sex with Robin, so, I mean, you basically say you slept with him just to piss Gary off, and you didn't at that time, but then you went over to the hotel and did it anyway, so, I don't really know where the story can go with these two in season 4. I mean, you tell me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Andi is really still in love with Gary, or do you think this is just lazy writing as an excuse to keep this storyline, if you want to call it that, continuing on? Because Gary just revealed he's been having an affair the entire time they're together. So how exactly do you come out with that? Should they just write this as a Will Smith and Jada thing where it's just an open relationship? Because I really wish I knew what Tyler Perry had planned for these two. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I mean, maybe she's telling Fatima this because, like she told Robin, I don't even talk to my girls about Gary anymore, mainly because she knows for a fact the girls will try to stop her. And Fatima just says, look, hey, I'm throwing my hands up. I spoke my piece, but let's move on to the next subject. Like and subscribe as always. Feel free to hit me up on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. If you would like to donate, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And with that being said, I will talk to you soon.